Hello everyone, and welcome to Food for Dogs, a console war free zone. Always has been, and I intend to keep it that way. I wanted to do a follow-up video to my Xbox video from a few weeks ago. There are a few updates, and there were heaps and heaps of comments with an incredible number of recommendations, and I've looked at everything and quickly got myself organised thanks to your suggestions. I just want to do a bit of a catch-up so you do not have to leave a message any longer saying get yourself rechargeable batteries, because that's the first thing I did, of course. So I ordered this little kit from Microsoft, and you won't believe it, it was not in stock in New Zealand. They had to ship it in from Australia, so it took a week to get here. That comes with the nice 3-meter long cable, and that's pretty much what I'm used to from playing PlayStation as well. That just fits very nicely into my gaming style. For those of you who haven't got an Xbox yet, and there have been quite a few of you who have asked me questions after this video because you may be considering it, just to show you, it's the usual arrangement for a rechargeable battery that is replaceable, and that's the important word, it's replaceable. And that's all it takes, you just pop it in there. In fact, I have a similar arrangement with another controller I have, which is an 8-bit do. It's not do, it's apparently do. So that's an 8-bit do wireless controller for the Switch. I have which has exactly the same arrangement. So the big question that many of you raised, and quite rightly I think, is why do PlayStation controllers come with non-replaceable batteries? Once the battery life is exhausted, you can kiss goodbye to your PlayStation 4 controller. I don't know how the PS5 controller works, I haven't got one. I assume it's the same, I haven't heard any different. I've got several of these DualShock 4 controllers, and the question arises, do we really need to add to our plastic and electronic waste in this world? Can the planet cope with any more? I think we need to be proactive here. Companies should be making every effort to try and cut down on waste, and an arrangement that allows you to use the controller for many years, simply having to replace the battery itself, strikes me as a better solution. Once this is dead, I can drop it, throw it out. It's a waste, isn't it, really? Those things cost 100 New Zealand dollars here in my country, so that it's not cheap. That's quite an investment. So that's it about the batteries. Comments about the button arrangement and all that, thank you very much. I managed to get my memory and muscle memory set up quite quickly. It's just a matter of playing Xbox games consistently with the controller, and it was no problem. Switching back to something like the Nintendo Switch, It took about 5 to 10 minutes until my brain had, reversed the button arrangement. Quite a few of you commented on how useful the colour coding of the buttons is, and I have to agree. I never really paid a lot of attention to the PlayStation colour coding because we have a red and a pink on there, and that's not awfully helpful, I think. Both the Xbox and Nintendo colour coding, that's another little 8-bit do controller. I think it's for my SNES Mini Classic, I think. This colour coding stands out a lot better with those very clear primary colours. So that's it about the controller and the batteries, and we can move on to the external hard drives. I always have a stack of these highly useful portable hard drives, which come in very good sizes these days and with good speeds, and as long as they're USB 3 we can use them with our consoles. I have them attached to my PlayStation 4s. I have 2 of them, and yes, obvious solution to a small hard disk drive is plugging one of these babies in. I did that straight away and it works just fine, as you'd expect. In fact, I'd have to say it works very similar to what I'm used to from the PlayStation. So you can designate one drive as the one to download to, you can move your games between the drives. It's pretty flexible, and you just have to watch that certain games may not be playable from the external hard drive, but older games, as a rule, can often be played from the external. I was really very surprised, though, when I shifted my 80 gigabyte game file for Phantasy Star Online 2 over to the external drive, and the next day I'd forgotten I'd done that, and I just booted up the game, and then I thought, oh, it's on the external, will it run? And you know what? It ran just fine. There's one quick error I want to point out. I made in my original video right at the very beginning, where I had a bit of a slip of the tongue. I said the Xbox S does not have a hard drive. Well, obviously that would be impossible, and most of you knew what I was talking about. I was obviously referring to it not having an optical disk drive. But we all know that the S is digital only. So two people spotted that error. Well done. I mentioned in my original video that the Xbox S runs very, very cool and noise-free. I just want to update that. Essentially, yes, I still stick by that, but of course it does get a bit warm when it's running. I mean, any electronic device that is a small computer powerhouse will do that. Do we have any problem areas? I haven't discovered any. The main area where the hot air comes out is here, from this black vent, and it's not being pushed out by a fan, it's just you can feel it when you put your hand there while it's running. On the other side we have a small vent at the bottom, and that's really interesting because if you put your hand up to that while it's running, you will notice a distinct chill. So there must be a cooling unit or something right behind there. The other area where it does get warm is around the midriff here, I noticed. If you're running a demanding game, that can get pretty warm, but that's the only area. So I'm quite happy that I'm keeping my Xbox upright, so heat dissipation here should not be a concern. So those are the only areas, and in my 3 weeks now of having the Xbox, I have not noticed any significant heat issue at all. But yes, the reason why I go on about this is not just that I've got a thing about heat and electronic components, but that it is astonishing to me, a feat of engineering I suppose, that such a very small box can run reasonably cool and quiet. Now, many of you pointed out that the PlayStation 5 also runs quite cool and quiet, and I don't doubt that. You know, I can't check it for myself, but I'm sure it does. Of course, one great advantage we now have are the different hard drives, the SSD drives, without the moving parts in them. They obviously run a lot better, faster and quieter. The other noise factor though would be fans, and I don't know how that is organized on the PS5, but I still cannot hear any fan noise from this little box at all. So now we'll come to the issue of games, subscription programs, cloud gaming, this whole area that is moving very, very fast in development these days. I said initially, I think in my video, that the Game Pass has 100 plus games. Of course, I discovered that it has in fact currently 400, just over 400 games, plus a few more if you add in the EA Play and the Xbox Live Gold. I think the reason for that is that Microsoft themselves on their website and elsewhere where they promote the Game Pass usually say play over 100 high quality PC games on Windows. That's the message I saw, and I simply assumed it was the same number on the Xbox. I then went on to actually count them on my Xbox on the Game Pass listings page and compared it with the ones listed on the website, and I have 407 listed, and that is for my region, Australia, New Zealand. I do not know whether there are regional differences. That's something that would really interest me, because most of you will know there can be significant differences between the regions with PlayStation. Some games never come to my region, and I have to go to the United States, PSN, or Europe to get a particular game I want. I'm not sure at this stage how the Xbox is organized in that regard. I would welcome reliable information on that. So far, whenever a game was mentioned or any news outlet said these are the games coming in September to Game Pass, and I checked the list against my own region Xbox listing, we always had the same games. So I'm assuming that the coverage is pretty much the same, and there might just occasionally be something perhaps related to a classification rating. That's the only reason I can really think of. But if you know anything about this, yeah, do let me know. The future apparently belongs to cloud gaming. Now that's a big move. It presupposes that everybody has the infrastructure of the internet to be able to make use of that. Microsoft have announced that their Xbox cloud gaming servers will become available for this holiday season. Now, whether that means just North America or all regions, I don't know. I would think it would be really, really difficult to roll it out for very different regions of the world where internet services may differ quite a lot. I would expect it would probably start out in North America and maybe Europe as well, some parts of Europe, that's my guess, but we'll see how that develops. But it means when it does arrive that we will have the option between downloading or streaming straight from the cloud. Now, the interesting thing where streaming services are concerned, and I'm not looking at Stadia because I'm really not familiar with that at all, the console streaming service is, of course, PlayStation Now. And that has been around, I believe, since 2015. It is not huge in terms of numbers. Game Pass easily dwarfs PlayStation Now, I think, in terms of user numbers. But it is a streaming service, and of course some people value it because it gives them access to some, let's say, PlayStation 3 games they may not have anymore, or not have access to a PS3. Now, the interesting thing about PlayStation Now is that I'm pretty sure Sony is ramping up to deliver more with it, possibly even to restructure the service. There are little indications, if you follow certain tech news, especially about how Sony acquires, companies associated with movies and anime. I'm thinking they might want to bundle it into a complete entertainment service, but that's just my guess. Sony haven't confided in me. So, PlayStation Now has, up until now, and is currently basically irrelevant to me. Why? Because PlayStation Now is not available in Australia and New Zealand. Never has been. Yeah, I can't use the service that's not available, so I can't look at it, I can't figure out whether I want it. We will have to wait and see. There are some rumours floating about that Sony might be getting ready to finally bring PlayStation Now to my region. We'll know when it happens, and then I will obviously look at it and see what it offers. So for a comprehensive subscription service, my only option right now is Game Pass. So it was a pretty obvious choice for me. The other subscription service that people tend to forget about when they talk about console streaming services is the Nintendo Switch online service, called NSO for short. Yes, it is an online service. It provides several benefits. I'm subscribed to it. It's not too expensive because it doesn't offer as much as the big two services, Game Pass and PlayStation Now. But you do get some games with your subscription, which are retro games from Nintendo's deep coffers of incredible IPs and older games that people still enjoy re-experiencing or experiencing for the first time. So those are the three services, and I think they're all poised to expand, to do more, to, move with the times. I think everybody would agree at this stage anyway that Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass has one foot in front of the others at the moment. hopefully it might get interesting. I love watching these developments in the gaming sector, so I think there could be interesting times ahead. So PlayStation Now currently is available in 19 countries. They obviously cover North America. They cover Japan now. They didn't used to, but it's included now. The UK is included. And then there is a whole number of European countries that can access PlayStation Now, but by no means all European countries. I checked with one of my channel's subscribers who is in Greece, and she confirmed that she can get Xbox Game Pass but not PlayStation Now. Then there are whole regions that are not covered at all by PlayStation Now, like South America, Africa, Middle East, most of Asia. It's a fairly compact service region-wise. As I said, 19 countries. If they add Australia and New Zealand, it would be 21. I had a look, and Game Pass is available in 42 countries. They cover a somewhat broader spectrum of regions, so there are a few South American countries included, some Asian countries, some East European, including Russia, and Greece and Turkey are included as well. So that was a quick look at subscription services. I hope you found that interesting. Let me know if you're in a region where you cannot access either Game Pass or PlayStation Now, or both of them are not available. I'd be interested in that, and let me know what your preference would be. Which is the service you would really like to see come to your country, to your region? I could even put up a poll for that, if you like, on the community tab. So I want to finish by briefly talking about the games. The games, that's the most important thing in the end. I'm not going to talk about any individual specific games today. It's just that now that I've had the Game Pass for nearly 3 weeks, I have noticed that it has made a significant difference to how I manage and plan my gaming life and my purchases. I had ordered and pre-ordered some PlayStation 4 games before I got the Xbox. Once I saw that some of those games were available on Game Pass, I thought, oh, that's interesting, because ordering a physical game, because I collect for the PS4, it makes sense for me. But ordering a game, all you have to go on are reviews, maybe some video gameplay coverage, and talking to friends. Friends are a good source of information, but as we all know, your friend may like a game that you just don't get along with, and vice versa. The big thing is that you're still friends and can talk about it. But that does happen, because personal taste is something that's very, very hard to pin down. So there's always quite a risk involved, really, when deciding to purchase a game. And I have already made some decisions for either cancelling a pre-order or deferring the purchase of a game until I've had the chance to play it on Game Pass. And in the short time I've had the Xbox, this has already proved enormously useful to me. What it does is it streamlines my whole operation. That's the only way I can describe it. And I'm really grateful for that. It's a great benefit to me. So I've definitely had like a couple of games where I thought, oops, good thing I didn't order or purchase those, because I've now had a chance to look at them on Game Pass, and I'm not sure I really, want to go as far as buying a copy. But there are also games where I get a chance to play them thinking, well, I'm not sure about that one, and suddenly, whoa, what a fantastic game. I am thinking of getting a physical copy if and when it comes out, because I like the game that much and want to have it permanently in my collection. So there's a whole spectrum of decisions that is made that much easier by having Game Pass with such a wide selection of games, and that's the important thing. They really do cover indies well, and all the other genre. The only ones where I still have to make my own decision would be on visual novels. I can't see any of those, and JRPGs are a bit underrepresented. I can see they're making an effort, and they've got a small but very good selection of JRPGs on the Game Pass. I'm hoping that will grow. So let's all try and be wise little owls where our gaming is concerned. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, please keep well. I'm Food for Dogs. Bye bye.